Let's first start out with the big picture. Your reality is likely comprised of things you both like and dislike. And the things you dislike are probably people, situations, or habits that you want to be done with but just find yourself doing over and over again. Consciously, you don't want any of these things. And there are times where you may walk away from them, focus on something else, but eventually something just reels you back into what you didn't want in the first place. Now, this has happened to me way too many a time. I'm a seasoned veteran, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. It is because we believe that the conscious mind or taking physical action will get us where we want to be. But that is just not true, because the subconscious mind will always bring us back down to equilibrium. Now, I'm going to explain equilibrium from two perspectives. First, an energetic perspective, and second, from a psychological perspective, just ways to notice the subconscious mind when it shows up in your life and how to work with it so you can actually make progress in another direction. So first, let's talk energy. Your equilibrium, your energetic equilibrium, is also called your resonant frequency. And in an energy system, perfect conditions contribute to maintaining the equilibrium of an energy system. We seek out environments that force us to maintain our state of equilibrium or our resonant frequency. So everything we do in our day-to-day reinforces the position to maintain homeostasis. And this homeostasis, equilibrium, resonant frequency, whatever you may want to call it, may not be consciously comfortable to you. In fact, you may really hate it. And I feel like that's a situation a lot of us find ourselves in. And again, the reason you find yourself in that situation is because your energy system needed that situation to maintain its homeostasis. And this is not at all decided by you. Your resonant frequency was decided for you whenever you were born. The circumstances that you were exposed to in your childhood and in your youth shaped your resonant frequency over time. And this became the one that you were stuck with, that you carried into adulthood. Let's take a pendulum. Someone swings a pendulum and decides the resonant frequency or equilibrium of this pendulum. This is where it will stay until otherwise challenged by another external force. Imagine this pendulum wakes up to itself and is like, I do not like the resonant frequency that my initiator decided for me. I don't like the rate at which I swing, and I want to change it. And as soon as it has that thought, it tries to stop the momentum immediately. It just doesn't happen. This pendulum already has momentum. If it's distracted by something else and forgets what it wanted in the first place, that frequency is not going to change because its sights have been taken off of it. And now, I know this is a little bit far of a stretch. I know pendulums can't focus and they don't get distracted and whatever, but what I'm trying to say is that it just takes a really long time for this old frequency to wear off. And there are a lot of barriers in the physical world that we have to confront. We must stay focused on changing this resonant frequency, and we must have conscious patience for ourselves as things change. One thing I can guarantee is that your resonant frequency will change over time. This is due to the natural process of evolution that everything in existence undergoes. Planets do it, stars do it, species do it, galaxies do it. The universe itself does it, and you do it too, without even trying. Things grow and decay all the time, and those are both isolated examples of natural evolution. So for example, a seed grows into a tree, and something that falls off the tree, let's just say an apple, decays into the soil. Both of these things, the seed and the fallen apple, have a trajectory or aim that they decided on, and their evolution reflects their intended path. And even the seed and the fallen fruit both undergo an energetic change as their physical shape evolves. We too have a trajectory or an aim. Our frequency will evolve over time to direct us toward our intended path. The difference between us and seeds or apples is that we are sentient beings and have much more control over where we've decided to go. And we as animals one day become our own caregivers. This means that we have a say in shaping our intended path. Although we can't control it entirely, we can nudge ourselves in the right direction over time using our conscious minds. But a mistake that we make is expecting our conscious thoughts and our awakening of the fact that we have the ability to change to result in immediate difference. And I think the hardest part is letting things change slowly. It's almost painful, honestly. And so to watch yourself change, you have to be in touch with the subconscious mind and not just have conscious patience. You have to understand the limitations of your subconscious mind, where it's comfortable progressing, and what it's not ready to start working on yet. So that takes us to shift into a more psychological perspective. I just have a few tips for working with the subconscious mind to more intentionally direct yourself toward your desired reality. Number one is to just pay attention to your subconscious mind because it will speak to you. It produces emotions. It makes that tightness in your stomach when you think about a particular person or event. It makes you bite your nails or return to nervous habits. It produces negative self-talk in your conscious mind. It takes you back to something you told yourself that you were finished with. And it's important to recognize when they come up. It really does start with awareness of just knowing, when am I doing this particular habit or behavior? When do I feel a tightness in my stomach? Why? Where did it come from? When was the moment that I noticed myself getting anxious? Was it whenever this person made that comment? Or was it whenever I made a comment to this person? Like, where was the moment when things started to feel uneasy? And just noticing that will help you understand the limitations of your subconscious mind. It will help you understand the barriers that it has in place for you. It has so much more power than your conscious mind does. This is where your equilibrium and your resonant frequency originates, is in your subconscious mind. Knowing what contributes to your homeostasis is an important part of your evolution. And being honest about where you are and where your equilibrium really is right now is very important because, number two, don't lie to yourself, because lying to yourself or having any kind of dishonesty reinforces negative beliefs in the subconscious mind. So for example, if you're doing affirmations in the mirror and you say something like, I'm smart or I'm kind, and you really have terrible insecurities about being smart or being kind, saying those things to yourself and having them feel like a lie reinforces the belief that they're not true. And having drawn attention to their untruth, you start to see more of it in your life, and it starts to show up more frequently because you've drawn more attention to it. It creates a feeling. It creates an emotion whenever you lie to yourself or whenever you say something that brings up negativity. It's using your conscious mind to create a feeling, but it's not actually about the thoughts that you have. It's about the feeling that was created from those thoughts. People often say you are not your thoughts, and this is true because your thoughts honestly don't have a lot to do with your reality. They're a byproduct of your circumstances, and you can use the conscious mind to rehabilitate the subconscious mind, but that's with the power of feeling, not with the power of thought. And that's why it is important to create positive feelings about yourself, which is tip number 3, to start where you know you can. So if the affirmations, I am smart and I am kind, don't feel good to you and they're creating negative emotions in you, start with an affirmation that does feel good, something you know you love about yourself. You're like, I love my hair today, or I like my jewelry, or these are things I like about myself right now. So just do something that fits with you, that you know will bring positive emotions to you, and targeting that one area that you know you love so much will bring you confidence in other parts of your life because it strengthens your self-concept as a whole, not just the one affirmation that you said. These positive emotions, these positive feelings that change and alter your subconscious mind bleed into other areas of your life, just like the negative emotions would. And this also requires honesty. This also requires awareness, because you have to be honest with yourself about where to begin, about what you like and don't like about yourself, what you are able to work on right now, and what your real best is. Because we have these idealized standards of what our best should be. And if we're being honest with ourselves in a single moment and saying like, okay, actually my best right now isn't what I would want it to be, but this is just where I am and this is where I need to operate for right now. Eventually it will get better, it will get easier, but I'm not there yet, and that's okay. I'll give a personal example. I was eating bread and I'm gluten intolerant. Having white flour really bothers me, and I was eating bread made with white flour, and I was like, this bread is so good, I love this bread, and just feeling really gross about it and not really wanting to eat the bread, but having to tell myself I wanted it because that made it okay to eat. Otherwise, I shouldn't have been eating it. I was sitting with myself and I was like, what would my best actually look like right now? Would my best actually be not eating this bread? And I was like, you know what? No, my best would be just telling myself that I don't want to eat the bread, even if I still eat it, just being honest about the fact that I don't even want it. And that led me to realize that all I was operating from was a place of simple conditioning. In response to stress, I created another stressor. And that was simply conditioning from my culture, just from our culture in the United States, that whenever you're stressed out or whenever you're having a bad day, cut yourself a break, let loose, do something that basically is a little bad for you that you wouldn't normally do. If I hadn't just first accepted, like, I just don't want this, I wouldn't have come to the realization that this is simple conditioning and I can change it. Let's find something that feels more open and that actually leaves me feeling better than when I started. This last tip is basically encapsulates all of the other tips I just mentioned, but it is to remove your conscious blockers. And by this I mean letting your ego take a little hit. We must learn to work at the very edge of the subconscious mind, to do something that feels like a bit of a challenge, but something that you're fully confident you can achieve. And if that means making a smaller short-term goal instead of making your big one-day goal a right now goal, that's okay. Otherwise, if you're operating outside the range of the subconscious mind, you're activating the belief that you will fail and you will prove to yourself that that's true. I have to set and reset goals all the time depending on how I feel about them. And so it's just been a lot of trial and error, operating in a place that I know I'm comfortable, I know I can do it, and my subconscious mind agrees with me. And the way you know your subconscious mind agrees with you is if you feel peace. Like if you're setting this goal and you're trying to achieve this thing and it feels peaceful and you feel excited for it and you don't feel scared, nervous, or anxious about it. And there's some level of stress that is going to happen in any goal that you set for yourself, but it shouldn't produce anxiety. I think the key is that's when you've crossed the line. All that to say, dream big. Dream as big as you can. Just know it's going to take some time and some patience to get there. I'm all out of words, so I'm gonna hop off, but I just want to say that I hope this video is beneficial for you in some way or another. If you would like to share, I would love to hear your experience, so feel free to comment. I love to connect with everyone in the comments section, and I will see you in a future video. Bye!